I got a tip for you corporate A1s out there. Use a ducker if you have an announcement that is in looping slides that needs to interrupt your playback music of like Spotify or iTunes or whatever like that. You can use a ducker to basically automate the fader movements that happen when that announcement that's maybe in some pre-service slides comes, and then it will automatically turn down your music. And then once that announcement is done, it'll come back up and bring your music back. So I was at this one show where this was happening. There was a looping slide deck, and one of the slide decks was an actual video that had audio to it. And so I needed to leave that open for all of doors. And it happened in the slide deck maybe about every minute, minute and a half or so. And so I wasn't wanting to be there at my console making those fader adjustments every single time that video happened. So what I did is I used a ducker. Now, a ducker is like a gate, just slightly different. A gate, once volume goes below a threshold point, will then mute that channel by the associated range that you have set. So say you have negative 30 dB on your gate, it'll attenuate that once the volume goes below this threshold point. A ducker is the opposite. It still turns it down, but it does that once the volume goes above this threshold point. So once the volume goes above the threshold point, it will then turn it down by the associated amount that you want. So it's kind of like a compressor, but it is a gate, but it's called a ducker. So anyway, what I ended up doing was setting the key source for that ducker as the Keynote presentation where the slide deck was happening and had that video coming in. But then I put that ducker on the actual Spotify channel. And so this is the way that it looked on the CL1 that I was on.
Because the air connection changes everything.
And so if I wanted to set this up on the Behringer Wing, let me show you how to do it. So I have my Spotify and my Keynote right next to each other on this example here. On my Spotify, I'm going to go select my gate and turn it on. Now I'm going to change the gate model to the Wing Ducker. Now at this point, I'm going to go over to Key Source, and I'm going to change this to my Keynote. And I'm going to make sure that the actual key tap is post fader. Now I have my range, which is important, so I'm wanting it to turn down quite a lot, so I'm gonna actually turn it down to infinity. Now my attack is how quickly is it going to duck down and actually attenuate my Spotify once that starts up. So I'm actually going to put my attack up to about 120 milliseconds. My hold time is after the volume dips back below this threshold point, how long is it gonna wait in attenuation before it starts releasing? And so we can put this maybe at like say 50 milliseconds. And then my release time, I'm wanting the music to kind of fade back in over about a second and a half. So I'm going to set this to about 1500 milliseconds. And that way, once this actually turns on and happens again, then it's going to dip down my music, and then it's going to come right back up once it comes back. Now you can do this on any console that has a ducker and has the ability of selecting a key in or a sidechain on any of your channels. So maybe this will help you the next time you're running sound and you come into this problem.